Hello, everyone. This is EB, and we are here today for another podcast. I am joined by my usual guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Alec Card, the Sidequestian Gentleman, and I am a huge Coldplay fan, if it wasn't obvious already. I've been a diehard fan since 2019. In fact, EB was the one who introduced me to them through their song Lovers in Japan.
I take great pride in that fact.
You've converted me.
I have done good work.
Yep. And that is why, to this day, both of us go out, door to door, being like, "Excuse me, can we have a moment of your time to talk about Coldplay?"
The doors get slammed in our face 90% of the time, but, it's still worth it, I think.
Yeah, but 10%'s not bad, right?
Yeah, better than nothing. Yeah, it's been a while since we've done one of these. I think, the last time we got together for one of these podcasts was 2021, when the Music of the Spheres came out, so it's been a while.
Yeah, and that was volume 1 of, I don't know if it's going to be a trilogy or if this is the last installment of the whole Music of the Spheres kind of saga, but we were kind of expecting more music to come soon, and then just a few years later they announced Moon Music, and people were going back and forth whether this was going to be a continuation of the Music of the Spheres project or just kind of its own thing, to which the answer is yes and no. It's definitely volume 2, but Moon Music also is definitely trying to be its own thing. You don't really have to listen to the first volume, just called Music of the Spheres with the subtitle From Earth with Love. This doesn't really seem like there's an interconnected saga where the last track connects to the first track of this album.
Yeah.
Concept albums are just weird. I love them. I listen to a lot of concept albums. Everybody wants their own Sgt. Pepper or The Wall or The Black Parade, but god dang, the canon is just so friggin' hard to follow sometimes.
Yeah.
If it even has one.
I think if we don't have any more to say, I think we could go into the track-by-track breakdown of the album.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. The first song of the whole thing, the title track, Moon Music. I actually did something different this time around. I actually took notes on the album, which is something I usually don't do for these things.
That's actually very wise to do, because it's we can listen to it as many times as we want, but it's not going to make our thoughts any more coherent unless we actually take notes on this.
Yeah, so as for the opening track, I think it's a pretty good way of opening the album as a whole. I think musically, I think it's really nice. I think it does kind of help set the stage for some of the themes of the album that's going to be explored later on. I think the title track is pretty good. Starting off point, it is kind of a sad song in a way, with some of the lyrics are kind of depressing when you look at them on face value.
One thing I really like about this, right off the bat, it kind of goes it's pretty much musically tells the audience that this is a very spacey concept album that kind of goes further with the idea than even the first Music of the Spheres album did.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, the title track, I feel like I'm floating in space, but it's not really the horrors of the cosmos or anything like that, just kind of a pleasant kind of drifting through space kind of feeling to it. Perhaps the ambience, maybe the piano kind of conveys that.
Yeah.
Definitely the relaxed tempo of it conveys that as well.
Because I took notes on the lyrics in my notebook, and yeah, that song, it does kind of feel like it's telling a good story about someone who's kind of lonely and kind of losing faith in the world and still trying to find a bit of hope in life and struggling to do so.
Right.
And I think that's something that a lot of people out there can relate to.
And in this post-COVID world especially, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe we can't just blame COVID for that. The whole and internet has been a blessing and a curse upon society. Everything is just plugged in now, and everyone's kind of feeling a little more isolated as a result, ironically.
Yeah, because like I'm reading over some of the lyrics, like where it says like maybe I'm just crazy, I should just be a brick in the wall, watch the TV, blame everyone else for it all. I think that's definitely a thing that a lot of people feel.
Brick in the wall.
Yeah.
Roger Waters reference?
Maybe. I think the one lyric that really kind of stuck with me was at the end where he says like, if there's anyone out there close to the end, I just need a friend. I think that part of the song like really stuck with me personally.
Yeah.
I like the distortion that they put on Chris Martin's voice as he sings that. I think it kind of helps emphasize the weight of that lyric.
Yeah. Kind of like he's losing connection, like, through whatever he's speaking through, but also kind of like doubling as a metaphor just for that kind of sense of isolation. Like, kind of like a wasted call that won't be heard by anyone.
Yeah.
Like, dang. This song is just poignant. It's incredible, and apparently, like, John Hopkins contributed to it. So
yeah,
it's like longtime collaborator since like the Viva La Vida days. So
yeah, I think that John Hopkins is like credited on the song alongside Coldplay. So
yeah.
After that, I think it transitions pretty seamlessly into the next song on the album.
I know, like, that was excellent.
Yeah.
But, like, it's weird because, like, Feels Like I'm Falling in Love is very pop-ish. It's less orchestral, but the way they transition to that, it doesn't feel like a song from a completely different album.
Yeah.
No.
I guess, like, you could also look at it thematically, where in the first song, like, he's talking about, like, feeling lonely and wanting connection, and then transitioning that automatically into a song about him, like, falling in love with someone. You could interpret that as, like, he's getting that connection that he desired in the first song.
Yeah.
When Feels Like I'm Falling in Love first came out, I wasn't super crazy about it, but when I
I've listened to it like 5 or 6 times, and like first I was like, eh, but I think it's grown on me a little bit to like kind of like a 7 out of 10 kind of song, just very serviceable kind of love song at least, and I especially like the chorus.
It definitely had to grow on me, I think. Yeah, because like I think when I finally listened to it for the album, I think that's when it started clicking for me. I think the song worked better for me in the context of the rest of the album than on its own.
I can understand that. Like, if this was going to play in a restaurant somewhere, people would probably just dismiss as, just a schmaltzy love song. Of course they're going to play this for something that people bring their dates to,
I kind of do like what the song is going for, like, story-wise, where it is kind of like this... I kind of hear it as a song about someone who's, like, kind of hesitant to be falling in love with someone because, like, they expect, it's probably not going to work out well, it's probably just going to, like... we're gonna end up getting a broken heart or something, but like I kind of see it as like they're like a conflict between like the logical part of him where he's like, this is probably not gonna work out, and then there's the emotional part of him where it's like, I don't care, I'm falling in love with this person.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
I
think we all could relate to that at one point, just especially when you crush on someone. My God. It does not get easier with age.
Yeah. Tell me about it. So I do like what the song is going for, like, on a more thematic level. I guess, like, when I first heard the song, I thought, like, the lyrics are kind of lame, but listening to it again, it's like, I think they're a little better than I initially gave them credit for. I don't know if I'd say they're the best Coldplay lyrics ever, but I still think that there's still some substance to them.
I think mainly with, like, the verses before the chorus, they kind of just add that substance to it, And it gives you something to really think about,
I think, honestly, the verses might be the weaker part of the song for me. I think the choruses I enjoy a lot more musically speaking.
Oh, definitely. That's the music idea that'll stick to you. But I'm just saying, like, the verses just perfectly kind of build up to this, like, back and forth of positivity and negativity of actually falling in love, you know? Just like... Now, the question is this your favorite song on the album?
I think it's probably one of my favorites, but I don't know if I would say if it's my number one favorite.
Yeah. I think I found the intro track. I personally think the intro track was a little more impressive, musically speaking. But, you know, it's a fantastic second track. To, like, follow up on that.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad that Feels Like Falling in Love eventually did grow on me. I'm glad that that it finally started to click for me. It's like, okay, I get what this song is going for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as for the next track, We Pray, featuring Little Sims, Burna Boy, Eliana, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, and Teeny, or is that Tini? Or did you just pronounce it as Teeny?
I'm not sure.
Or Tiny. I'm very sorry. I'm kind of under a rock when it comes to contemporary music.
We could Google it, but our ignorance is kind of funnier, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it is. It is very... I feel like, oh, geez, I'm a little out of my depth. But I don't hate this song. Like, a lot of people are like, ugh, why is this song on the album? It doesn't fit the narrative. But, you know, I like it. It kind of has like that Viva La Vida sound to it with like the instrumental, and the collaborators are really putting all their feeling and all their lyrical prowess into this song. Honestly,
yeah.
I heard someone say it's like, oh, it's just they're forcing Christian rock or Christian rap into this, but it's like it doesn't really specify Christianity. I don't believe.
Yeah. I have seen some hate for We Pray online, and to an extent, I guess I can kind of get it, but I don't really think I really don't think it's a bad song, and this idea of like, oh, it doesn't fit like narratively with the rest of the album, I don't agree with that, because like if you take a look at the lyrics and what they're talking about, like it does kind of fit with the rest of the album and like what it is going for, like thematically speaking.
Right. You know, spiritualism seems to be a recurring theme of this album.
Yeah.
Just belief in something greater than all of us, than even the universe, perhaps. You know, maybe that's why some people think it's so divorced from this kind of like space theme of moon music, but I think that kind of adds to it. Like, why should Earth be the only one that has religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs? Like, come on. That's what we liked about Star Wars, you know, different cultures and things, like, just having their own beliefs.
Yeah, like, honestly, like, I wouldn't be all that surprised if we did contact other aliens, that they would have their own, like, different religious beliefs on their planets.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's my favorite song, but, you know, I was surprised by it, and I was even more surprised how much I liked it with each re-listen, you know?
Yeah. I do like the collaborative aspect of We Pray. Like, I think that, whenever, like, I think everyone kind of offers their own thing to it. Like, when they get their own time in the spotlight to, like, say their piece.
Yeah, that's another thing. The camaraderie between Coldplay and their collaborators. It's just like they work so well together, just like bouncing ideas off one another. It doesn't feel like, you know, one collaborator is tacked on. No, it feels like they all have like a vision of this one song, and then they just kind of made it into this really awesome collaborative vision. It doesn't feel corporate mandated. It feels rather earnest and legit.
And it definitely does kind of like have this vibe of like hoping for something better for like the world as a whole. And I kind of read some like and this is just like my take on the lyrics. I did get some sense of like the song was talking about like prejudices, especially like there's this one verse like who can't remember who sings it. I'm trying to find it in my notes. I think it's Little Sims. Like when she comes in, like she sing like the verse that she sings, it does kind of feel like she's talking about like prejudice, in that part of the song. I think it does kind of. I think that it is kind of like about overcoming that prejudice, and there's a part of it that seems like celebrating like trailblazers and how like they were able to open like create opportunities for people within marginalized groups. I think that it is like I think if I'm talking faster than I can think, honestly, but hopefully you get what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if I have that much more to say on We Pray. I think I guess I could kind of understand why it might not work for everyone, but I think it worked pretty well for me, and I liked what the song was like doing musically, and I liked what it was going for overall.
Agreed. Yeah, and I think it's a welcome inclusion to the album. It really made things more interesting, like offering a variety of sound to it. So, next track, Jupiter.
I think Jupiter might be one of my favorites on the album.
Yeah. It's a pretty good deep cut, just like the acoustic guitar is really cool.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love the acoustic guitar. I might try to see if I could learn to play this song guitar at some point in the future, because I just like the acoustic bit from Jupiter.
Yeah, who knows? It could probably just come in handy someday. You never know when aliens land and their one request is for you specifically to play Jupiter on the acoustic guitar. Otherwise, humanity gets destroyed.
Oh no!
At least you'll have that skill set. Yeah.
I don't want that pressure put on me. As for like the lyrics to the song, I think it's pretty obvious that the song is about a trans girl trying to like learn how to accept herself.
Huh. I never. Okay, I could kind of see that. Like, to be fair, I just kind of listened to it, never actually sat down, read the lyrics, and really absorbed that.
Yeah, I do think I think that's kind of like when I first heard the song. I think that's like the first thought, that one of the first things about it that popped into my head is like, okay, I think this is about a trans girl, because I think like the first lyric is talking about how, what does it say, like wasn't free to be exactly who she ought to be. I think that's like,
how did I miss that? How did I freaking miss that? God dang. Shoot. That went way over my head.
Yeah, as they say, hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah, but looking back, it gets a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
Megadeth reference. I'm sorry.
I think that's another reason why this is like one of my favorite songs on the album. I do like really love like the story that's telling of like acceptance, like not just like acceptance from other people, but also self-acceptance, because there is a part of the song where the character is like questioning like, oh, is there something wrong with me? And I think that if you are like a trans person, you're surrounded by a bunch of transphobes who like don't validate your identity, it could lead to you like questioning, okay, well maybe there's something wrong with me then. And like there is that little story of her realizing like, no, there is nothing wrong with me, this is who I am. I hear typing.
I'm sorry. There's like some lyrics at like the second to last verse, so written in a different language. So I'm just trying to look. All right, there's Zulu lyrics. I'm not going to try to pronounce that because I cannot. I am not really well versed on this language, and I don't want to butcher it. So, but it apparently means reinforce the universality of love and acceptance, which really like hammers in the LGBTQ plus like acceptance themes.
Yeah. I think the one website that I pulled up did provide a translation for it, which apparently it translates to "I really love you, all my love,"
Right.
which I guess like also kind of like contributes to the theme of the song overall. But then again, like I don't speak this language, and so like you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt because like online translations can be very hit or miss sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very true. Especially when like a lot of these Google translations like misunderstand or misrepresent like the context behind it.
Yeah, I remember when I was in high school, I took a Spanish class, and our Spanish teacher told us not to use Google Translate because Google Translate will only translate the words literally without taking into account like the grammar rules and stuff.
Right. I remember taking French and my teacher said something similar regarding like the use of masculine and feminine like nouns and verbs. I'm like, I don't understand why in the that language that there's like a masculine and feminine trait to the like words.
Tangent aside, going back to the song, like Jupiter, like I said, it's like one of my favorites on the album. I love the acoustic guitar part. I love the song, like thematically, narratively. I think it's like it's a very wholesome and uplifting track about accepting yourself and finding people who accept you for who you are.
I bet the crowd would go nuts when Chris just brings out his acoustic guitar and starts playing Jupiter. You know, I bet this would be a great one to hear live.
Yeah, probably. Honestly, I'm very interested to like. There's a lot of songs I'd be very interested to hear in a live context.
Right. Now, next song. Good Feelings. Let me ask you, EB, do you have good feelings about this song? Well, do you?
Yeah, I think, overall, I think I have good feelings about the song.
That's good. I'm glad you have good feelings about it.
I thought you were gonna ask if I had good feelings in general. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you have good feelings?
Right now I have good feelings.
Why? Let's explore this.
What, is this a therapy session now?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Tell me about your id, your ego, and your superego.
Well, id, I'm pretty sure, is a game developing company. Ego, well, I guess I'm not super egotistical, but super ego, I assume that's probably just like a weird way of saying someone's a narcissist. I don't know what any of these words mean.
EB's take on Freudian psychology, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary pals. That was beautiful. But anyways, I like this one. It's a very dance pop kind of song, so you might probably hate it for that reason. Well, you know, not you specifically, EB. I'm just talking to the audience. You know, it's I've long accepted Coldplay is going in a completely different direction than their first 4 or 5 albums, and you know what? I've made peace with that. And once I kind of accepted that, I actually enjoyed a lot of their poppier stuff. Even I wouldn't say it's great, but you know, it's just like this song gives me good feelings. Yeah.
I would say that when it comes to Coldplay's pop music, I think it is more hit or miss. I think sometimes they can do a great job with it, sometimes not so much.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, I hated Magic, but I kind of liked Sky Full of Stars. You know,
how dare you tarnish Magic like that?
Ghost Stories was never one of my favorite albums. I gave it 5 listens just to see the genius masterpiece that Coldplay fans are insisting it is. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. And then they're like, okay, you heathen. I kid, but really, Ghost Stories is okay.
Yeah. Good Feelings. I'd say it's probably like one of my least favorite songs on the album. Not necessarily because I think it's bad, but because I think it's probably like one of the lesser good ones, if that makes any sense.
And lyrically, it's just kind of it's very overt. There's not really a whole lot of subtlety or room to really think about it afterwards, you know. I think maybe that's like the point is just like give the audience immediate good vibes, you know, something to dance to.
I do like what the song is saying lyrically. But I guess you could say that they're kind of on the nose and don't leave much room for subtlety, and I'd probably agree with that. Musically, I kind of do like what's going for. It's like I feel very upbeat, very dancey. But there's nothing about the song that really stands out to me like, oh, this is a great, amazing pop song or anything. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Something to hear at a nightclub. Now, rainbow emoji, whatever you call it. It's YouTube Music calls it Alien Hits / Alien Radio with like all the capital letters except for the I because they have to do that. Oh my god, so freaking creative. Great job, folks. you lowercase the I to make it stylistic. Brilliant.
I think with when Music of the Spheres came out, like one of the things that we made fun of it for was like how almost half of the song titles were basically just emojis.
Right.
At least they only did it with this one. You know, I still think I'd prefer not do the emoji titles, but if they are going to do it, at least just the one on the album and nothing else. So it's like doesn't stand out as much, I guess.
Right. But you know, this is probably my favorite track on the album because it's mostly instrumental and kind of like a sound collage, even using like a Maya Angelou recording at the very end. Yeah. You know, it's just spoken word except for a few segments. And just like, it's very relaxing. It's very chill, and it kind of goes further with the intro songs, like the titular tracks, like spacey, ambient kind of feeling to it. It just, especially that when the piano comes in like halfway through.
Yeah, this is like one of my favorites on the album. What I like about it is that it does kind of like there are different parts of it. It does kind of like feel like it almost feels like a few different songs put together, and like they managed to transition between each of them so seamlessly.
Yeah, that is what we call a suite.
Yeah.
I think that's what they call it. I'm trying to be all like, I'm a music teacher who teaches 17th century music.
Yeah.
Beethoven, nothing but Beethoven.
Beethoven is a dog, you fool.
All right, class. Today we're going to attempt, and you're going to fail at Carmen's Suite number 2.
I think one of my favorite parts of the song is when when Will and Chris both start singing. I'm not sure like when it starts, but like that part where like it picks up in momentum. I love that burst of energy. It really pumps. I just love the whole vibe of that part of the song.
Yeah, I like it too.
And I also do really like the Maya Angelou sample at the end. I didn't know that's where the sample came from when I first heard
I didn't know
it.
until I looked up like the writing credits. It's like, all right, get ready, folks. Coldplay, Devin Powers, Maya Angelou, Hopkins, I want to say Kaori Miraji, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, and Max Martin, no relation to Chris. He's just an electronic artist. I don't even think that's his real name.
One of these things is not like the other. When I first heard this song and it got to the sample part, it did remind me of there's a gorilla song called Stop the Dams that has like this part where this guy starts speaking, and it did remind me a lot of that song.
What album was that off of?
I think it was D-Sides. I think it was a compilation they did. I don't think it was one of the studio albums.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, like, I've only really listened to, like, Demon Days and Plastic Beach. And a little bit of that 4th or 5th album, I can't remember. I'm not the biggest fan of that group, but yeah, I like some of their songs, you know. I think I'm just too simple to understand the Gorillaz.
I think I feel just about the same about Gorillaz. I think the thing about the Maya Angelou sample is that, like, even if you don't know who's being sampled or what the context of it is, like, it still works for the song because of, like, the message, like, that she's sending with that song, and, like, talking about, like, you know, putting rainbows in clouds. Like, you could still interpret something out of that, even, like, not knowing, like, who it is or what the context is.
And honestly, after this, I think this is a point where the album dips in quality a little bit for me, personally. Not, you know, the rest of it is still decent. It's just, like, you know, the tracks start to become a little more hit or miss. Like, not bad. No, like, it never gets, like, sinks to the low of Beautiful from the last album. Oh, God.
Never again.
Thank God. I can't believe they actually released a whole ass music video just for that. I was like, you really are banking on the success of this terrible track. Probably like the worst Coldplay song I've ever heard.
Yeah.
But enough about that. You know, that was last album. That's in the past. Hopefully it stays buried in the past.
We need to take it out back and finish it off for good. give it the old Yeller treatment.
I like how you could just, like, it made your voice all grisly, like, yeah, we're gonna take it out back, take it out old Yeller style. My God. Alright. Track 7, IAAM.
I think that stands for I Am a Mountain, which I did not know at first until I looked over the tracks on the deluxe edition and it had the full title spelled out. I was like, oh, that's what it's meant to stand for. I didn't know.
Why the abbreviation? You know, just call it I Am a Mountain. People be like, all right, what are they smoking and where can I get it?
I think that on Everyday Life, they had a song that they abbreviated, but for that one, it made sense because it would have been a pretty long title if they spelt it out the whole way. But this one, it would not have been that long if they spelt it out, so I don't see why they need to abbreviate it.
I have not given Everyday Life a full listen since it came out shortly. So.
Yeah. I think I do like this song. I wouldn't put it as one of my favorites on the album, but I do love, like, the confident energy that it gives off throughout the whole thing, and, like, the metaphor in the chorus about how it says, like, I am a mountain. I do really like what like that's going for, lyrically speaking. It's just, and also, like, the metaphor of, like, a lightning bolt and something of lightning, I think is also great. I like communicating that sense of, like, confidence. I just really like this song overall.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's pretty decent overall. It's like, for one reason or another, I just haven't come back to this one all that often. Perhaps it's because it's, like, pretty short, you know, only like 3 minutes. You know, lyrically, it's got a lot of good content to really chew on. Wow, I think it's just like I find the chorus to be kind of unremarkable, at least compared to the other tracks. I do like they bring back the acoustic and just kind of harmonize that with a more electronic or like instrumentation. And finally, you know, it's like they really want to hammer in that they are a mountain, and it's just like it's like they end like some of the verses like, "'Cause I am a mountain."
He is a mountain. What do you want me to say?
He's a mountain. I'm proud of you, Chris. Spent so much time as a human, now you finally achieved your dream of becoming a mountain.
I now just have this mental image of, like, a giant mountain with, like, Chris Martin's face on the side of it. Like Mount Rushmore.
Count Coldmore.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
We should do a Mount Rushmore, but all the heads are like the heads of all the Coldplay band members.
I want that, but hopefully we do that on like a mountain that nobody owns. You know, whole history of Mount Rushmore. If you look it up, it's pretty messed up what like the government did to get those mountains and just kind of deface them, in just an act of vanity.
I did visit Mount Rushmore, but I don't remember like the history of it at all.
Of course, they wouldn't tell you that.
I do know that they have a secret plumber base in there, though. That's a Ben 10 reference.
Yeah, I got
anyway,
that.
So I think
it's a decent little track. You know, it's not one of the standouts. And it's pretty decent. It's very competently made, I must say. And I see a lot of Coldplay fans really enjoy this deep cut, so maybe I'm just not really seeing what they see yet. It wouldn't be the first time, like I didn't really understand the appeal of Yellow until like literally 3 years after I started listening to Coldplay, so it really goes to show my limitations with my perspective on things, so...
Yeah, sometimes it just takes time for something to grow on you.
Yep. Now, for the next track, Aeterna. This is like my favorite kind of dance kind of song. What genre is this? Is this like... I don't want to call it EDM, even though they are European, so if anyone has any right to call it EDM, they might.
I do kind of get like a dance club vibe from this song, and I do think like it is one of my favorites from this album, and I do really like the dancey aspect of it.
Yeah, it's probably my second favorite song off this album, honestly. Don't judge me. It's a lot of fun to like put on like to replay, but it is bothering me. I cannot. Alright, the genre, according to the official Coldplay wiki, it is electronica, alternative dance, and synth pop. Okay, that doesn't really give me much answers, but alright, electronica checks out. I don't really know what qualifies as alternative dance. If you're dancing, you're dancing. What was there to be an alternative to? Doing that weird Peanuts character kind of dance? Yeah, I could probably do that to the song. Just do that like stilted Peanuts cartoon character dance to the song, and you know, it's a vibe. It fits the vibe at least.
Honestly, I think that when I first heard the song, like I kind of more enjoyed the dance vibe to it. When it came to like the lyrical content of it, it kind of took a while for that aspect to really grow on me, and for me to like really understand what I was going for lyrically speaking.
But I kind of appreciate that, because we beforehand we literally criticized one of the songs for being very overt about its lyrics, while this one decided, all right, let's go super complicated. Yeah.
I don't know if I would say, I'm gonna be honest, I think it's probably less that the lyrics are complicated and probably more that I was just being dumb.
No, they're complicated. Never admit to being dumb. Never. Have some confidence, even though you're just you're kind of going into this like a lot of just like a lot of people going into this album, just from the outside looking in. At the very last verse has like a different language. I'm pretty sure that also is like the Zulu language. So
yeah,
let's
I think
translate
it's
that
Zulu.
quickly.
I think it's Zulu for "I love you."
Yep, you're right. According to Threads.net. Congratulations.
I am the master of languages.
You are C-3PO. Human cyber relations.
Yeah. I have access to like I don't remember the exact number of languages he speaks.
I think like 6 billion.
Yeah. I can speak 6 billion languages except for Sith because that's outlawed.
Yeah, like to be fair, that's off topic, but like part where he just like willingly reprograms himself. That was probably the best C-3PO act he's ever done. Like after spending 9 movies being the most insufferable comic relief character, he does that. I'm like, wow, I actually feel something for this asshole.
You're saying that while Jar Jar exists?
Jar Jar didn't bother me. I think Phantom Menace detractors were looking for a scapegoat because, like, even though that movie has problems, Jar Jar is probably, like, at the very low percentile of the movie's problems.
I don't hate Jar Jar as much as, like, a lot of other people do, but, like, I don't really love him either.
I think, like, in episodes 2 and 3, he got sidelined to be just, like, a senator representing, like, the Gungan part of, Naboo. So... why are we talking about Star Wars?
I can't tie them together, okay? Listen. Speed of Sound would be Anakin Skywalker's least favorite Coldplay song because of the lyric, how long am I gonna stand with my head stuck under the sand?
Okay. Great segue, somehow.
Returning to moon music. If we don't have much more to say on Aeterna, we could go on to All My Love.
Yeah, we pretty much said all we said on Aeterna.
Yeah.
It's lyrically complex, fun dance song, second favorite track, at least for me. And apparently Will Champion really likes it. Because he said it was like one of his favorites of the new batch of songs that they made for this album. So, it's got his endorsement. This might be This one is... it's fine. I think this is the one he wrote with Apple Martin. Or is it Moses? He wrote this one, Moses.
Didn't Moses die like centuries ago? How could he write the song?
He came back as the son of Chris Martin from Coldplay, just so I could write music with him. Joking aside, it's really cool how like Apple and Moses are really involved in their dad's like songwriting process for just a few songs. Some of their contributions are fine. It's like I wouldn't say peak Coldplay by any chance, but it's like are never really the standouts of like the entire albums. But I don't know, for deep cuts, I think it's perfectly harmless. If you want to work with someone and really like their ideas, why not collaborate with them?
All My Love, I think, I like it. It doesn't like nothing about like sticks out to me as being like exceptional or great. I think it's a pretty standard love song. I do like that in the first verse there is kind of a callback to the opening track where he says, what does it say? We've been through low, been through sunshine, been through snow. Hold on. All the colors of the weather, and I think there is a similar lyric in Moon Music. Be more like the sky and welcome every kind of weather is like the lyric from Moon Music, and here does calls back to that. I guess you could interpret that in the sense that in Moon Music he was talking about like being hopeless and sign connection, and here he's calling back to that. You could view it as how far he's come, like starting off as like being hopeless and depressed, and now like he's like happy and making connections like he wanted.
Yeah, that works. It's pretty good song.
But I think it's like the only thing about All My Love that sticks out to me significantly. Like everything else about it it's good, but not like it's not amazing by any means.
It's probably my least favorite song on the album. It's just like, this album really surprised me. It's like, I was just expecting just more of Music of the Spheres, which really disappointed me initially. It still does, It's not really gotten better with a second listen, but like when I was like hyping myself up for like the release of this next album. So, but this album is just, it's got some good things going for it. It gives you good feelings, right? Right? Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Anyways, One World, co-written by Apple Martin and a bunch of other people. Yeah, A. Martin, that's Apple, alright. Yep.
I think this is like another one of my favorites on the album. It is kind of similar to one of the earlier tracks where it's kind of like, it feels like multiple songs in one, kind of like seamlessly stitched together.
Yeah. I really like how as a closer track, it's very kind of subdued and quiet, and then just like progressively gets louder.
What I find interesting about One World is that the lyrics on like the surface are kind of simple, but I think you could still manage to like read a lot into them. Like
Right.
the first part is just like Chris Martin saying, like, one world over and over again. And the takeaway I got from that was like emphasizing how we only have this one planet to like live on, so like we have to take care of it, we have to share it with each other.
Right. And honestly, the first album was just about a bunch of like an entire solar system, and it just like didn't really seem to have like any kind of vision to it, really. Just like a bunch of pop songs that were kind of stitched together with some very short emoji tracks, But this goes for lore sakes. Okay, we're just going to focus on one world. This is the moon music. We're looking like on the Earth from the moon kind of deal. I think by going lower stakes, it just has more payoff, more emotional payoff at least, and definitely a more cohesive vision. Even if the singles won't be as radio friendly as say like the ones from the previous album. I did hear Feels Like I'm Falling in Love, in the casino kitchen I work. It's starting to get some radio airplay, so yeah, they seem to be. This album feels like they can have their radio friendly cake and eat it too. You can have some radio friendly songs, but they also want to do something artistic, with the deeper cuts of the album.
I think the instrumental break after the opening part of One World, where Chris is saying One World over and over again. After that, there's a chorus. I think that's actual Coldplay fans singing that little part right there.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
Wow.
I think they actually recorded fans singing it at concerts, and they also invited people online to record themselves singing it, and it would be incorporated into the actual song.
Wow, that's just incredible fan service.
Yeah, I think it also kind of helps with the themes of the song of this sense of unity and people coming together, because there's ton that's has to be so countless people of different backgrounds and different walks of life, all putting their differences aside so that they could sing together.
Right.
And then after that part, the instrumental that follows that is probably one of my favorite parts of the song, because I just do get this sense of I think I wrote down in my notes what I was trying to specifically. Yeah, it makes me feel like I'm floating through space when I listen to that part of the song.
And that's pretty much this whole album in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Well, most of it, say for some standout tracks that kind of stray away from the ambient space kind of feel to it, but the album never stays away from that idea for too long, and it always circles back to it. So in a way, it kind of feels like a multi-perspective kind of song where this concept album doesn't really have one narrator but multiple narrators. So
yeah, it's telling different stories all in one world.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of these songs seem to have feature excerpts written in the Zulu language. Coldplay seems to have some fascination with that, and just I find that interesting. They just piques the curiosity of the listener to try to get translations, and then you kind of learn more and more about the history of the language.
I think one thing that we could comment on is that how this song continues with Coldplay's weird bird obsession, as we do hear birds chirping, I think twice in the song.
At least they don't have another song just about birds. There was Up With the Birds, and then just regular birds. And How many songs did they write featuring birds in the title?
If you did a drinking game where you had to take a shot every time Coldplay referenced birds, you would die of alcohol poisoning.
I bet there's like a Spotify playlist is like Coldplay being obsessed with birds for an hour.
I think that's a playlist I could create, honestly. I do think that this song kind of like leaves the album off on a very, very nice note. I think like it's especially like at the very end where it's just like Chris and Will singing La La La. I just kind of see that as like it going full circle, because it starts off with this song about him like being depressed and hopeless, and at the end he's just happy and blissful and just singing happily, not a care in the world.
Yeah, the perfect note to end off. And then the deluxe edition had to ruin it. But seriously, I've listened to a little bit of that, but like EB hasn't, so I don't even know if we're going to really cover the few new songs on that, because some of it is just like, what we've heard already, except like Moon Music is just the instrumental, I believe. It's available on like digital, streaming services. So, but the regular album, I gave it a 6 out of 10. I think I was a little too harsh with that. It's not Coldplay's strongest efforts, and I'm not going to like run around on the streets with some Jack Daniels in my hand screaming like, Coldplay is back, bitches!
Oh my god.
As much as I want to, but
I think you should do it anyway, because I think you should do it anyway, because that'd be really funny.
And make a really good viral video, but
yeah,
I'm trying. I don't.
You could be like
also stay on the internet forever. So.
You could be like a street preacher, but instead of talking about Jesus, you just going on about Coldplay. You have this T-shirt of Chris Martin on the cross.
Have you heard about our Savior's Coldplay? Chris Martin, you just got accepted into your hearts.
You hold up like a vinyl copy of Viva La Vida, and you say, "This is their sacred text."
Viva La Vida. It's Vida. Vida. Say it right.
I'm sorry, I'm uncultured.
That's all right. So am I.
Yeah.
But now you
overall,
know, and knowing is half the battle.
Yeah. Overall, when it comes to my thoughts on the album, I kind of expected going into it. I expected not to like it all that much, because Music of the Spheres. Well, I don't hate Music of the Spheres. It is my least favorite Coldplay album, and I would say it's the worst album that they've put out. And I was kind of like expecting.
It's the only album they put out I actually don't like. I can usually find something positive to say about like my lesser liked albums, like Ghost Stories or like Head Full of Dreams. Like, I've really warmed up to Head Full of Dreams recently. Like, that's a very solid 7 out of 10 album.
Music of the Spheres at least had coloratura on it, I guess.
Oh, yeah. That's honestly the only reason I really bought that. Well, that and Higher Power. I liked Higher Power. It's a nice song. And My Universe, as much shit as I gave it, it's grown on me a little bit. It's okay.
I did go into Moon Music not expecting to like it, but when I listened to it, I was like pleasantly surprised, because I do like the album. Like, it's not the best thing that Coldplay has ever done, and even in terms of their pop albums, they have done a lot better. Like, I think that honestly, I think that Milo Xyloto is the best pop album they've done, and I don't think they've topped it yet.
Oh, I definitely agree. I consider that more like pop rock, but maybe I'm just being kind of pretentious.
Moon Music, I did end up liking. I was pleasantly surprised by it. I'm glad that I ended up liking the album as much as I did, even if it's not the best thing that Coldplay has ever done, it's still, because I was kind of like in this moment of doubt, was like, oh, is Coldplay, like, have they just fallen off? Are they not gonna do any good music anymore? Has like, is it like the end for them? But then this album came out, I was like, no, they still got it.
Yeah, they're not as good as they used to be, but if they were, if they were to come around my area, they probably won't because I live in the middle of nowhere. But like, if they did, I would probably get like VIP seats just so I don't have to deal with the parking hassle. But most importantly, because they seem like a really fun band to see live. We're only critical of like the first Music of the Spheres album because we really love the band, and it really hurt us that after waiting a little bit for this album to come out, it just wasn't up to par.
Yeah, I think for how much you could say what you will about Music of the Spheres, but I think it is like a testament to how good Coldplay is that they've only done one bad album out of 10.
I mean, some would disagree. Like even older Coldplay fans are very adamant about the whole first 2, first 3, or first 4 album rule. Like, they don't even want to touch Milo Xyloto with a 10-foot pole, even though that album kind of got me into Coldplay.
Yeah, I've seen some hate for Milo Xyloto. I will never understand it because I think that's one of the best albums they've done, or at least it's one of my personal favorites.
Yeah, it's probably my 3rd or 4th favorite.
Honestly, I've never really been into that whole idea of like that, oh, Coldplay stopped being good after Viva La Vida. I think that kind of like oversimplifies like the post-Viva stuff that they've done, and there have been some post-Viva stuff that they've done that I wasn't the biggest fan of, sure, but they've also done some like genuinely great stuff afterwards that maybe not as good as like their first 4 albums, but still pretty worthwhile.
So, let me know, comment section. Did you listen to Moon Music yet? Standard or Deluxe Edition? Do you think EB should be forced to listen to the Deluxe Edition? Should he be deprived of food and water until he listens to the Deluxe Edition? Let me know in the comment section below.
You don't need to. I can just listen to it on my own. Nobody's got to force me to do anything.
You're no fun.
And I don't know why you would need to force me. Like, I would, even if you did force me to listen to it, I'd probably enjoy listening to it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you might like some newer songs like "Man on the Moon" and "The Karate Kid." A lot of fans are really liking those new songs. It's just like a lot of it is repeat content of like just an instrumental version of Moon Music, and feels like I'm falling in love, except it's live, and now it's spelled feels like I'm falling in live. I'm like, that's so funny. You're so clever.
I see what you did there.
Yep. Oh, jeez.
One thing that I've noticed about Moon Music, and a common thing that people bring up, is how often they say la 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 in the lyrics on the album. And it has been like a point of contention for a lot of people saying, oh, it's just like lazy filler lyrics. But I didn't really feel that way personally when listening to it.
Man, they really won't like scat jazz.
Yeah. Because, like, it's not, like, the first time Coldplay's done something like that. Like, they've had, like, because, like, in Sparks, there's, like, a segment where it's just them going la la la, and they've had, like, repeat lyric stuff like that before. I don't really have an issue with how much they say la 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 on the album, to be honest. I do kind of get the impression that it's meant to be, like, expressing, like, this sense of happiness and bliss throughout the whole record. So like I never really got behind that critique myself.
I have no horse in that race. I don't really care for its inclusion, but I don't really mind it at all. It's like it just is what it is.
Yeah.
I think some people just will really look into anything to latch on to.
Do you have anything else to say, or could we just like give some closing thoughts on the album as a whole?
They better the third album better be called Sun Music or Black Hole Music or
Honestly, I think
I don't know, Quasar Music. Yeah, let's go for that.
I think Black Hole would probably be cooler. Honestly.
Yeah, that'd be like a darker end to the whole Music of the Spheres saga, and I think they have like 2 more albums on the way, and like the next one might be the last one if this isn't the conclusionary note. Like, if Moon Music is the last we're getting of the Music of the Spheres project, I'm personally fine with that. It ended on a pretty good note, but at the same time, if there's more ideas they can explore, I'd be very willing to listen to them, especially since this album kind of renewed my faith in like their new like popish output.
Yeah. I think they might do a third Music of the Spheres, and after that, I think they're doing the final album.
Yeah, I keep hearing some people say like they'll go back to their roots, but unless I see an official article saying that from one of the bandmates themselves, I don't really know.
Yeah,
and that's okay. Mystery is the spice of life.
Yeah. So I think we've gone over everything we wanted to talk about, or at least I did.
All right, you want to wrap things up?
Yeah.
Where can they find? Wait, I'm the guest. Never mind.
Yeah, where can they find you?
You can find me in the alleyway of your local Panera Bread, begging for some Panera Bread. I need Panera Bread. It is my sustenance. But if you got iced coffee, that'd be nice too. I like iced coffee. I might also be at your local Starbucks. Alright.
Okay.
In all seriousness, you can find me at the SQG Review Show, where I talk mostly about video games. I rarely talk about music. This is kind of like a side gig that I really like doing. I'm not very good at it, but I'm still going to do it so I get better at it. Got a problem with that? Subscribe to my channel just to really show me. There you go. Yeah. This is completely unrehearsed, chat. So.
Yeah. I think that's everything from us for today. So I guess we could say goodbye for now.
Goodbye for now.
Goodbye, everybody.